educate our children to take their place in the economies of the 21st century. How do we do that? Given that we can't anticipate what the economy will look like at the end of next week. Every country on Earth is trying to figure out how do we educate our children so they have a sense of cultural identity and so that we can pass on the cultural genes of our communities while being part of the process of globalization. How do we square that circle?
You call that radio?
Makes coherent sense.
I think that's a cool background, so. Welcome to You Call That Radio. I'm in my house. I'm in my room, in my house, my usual place. This is a green screen. I promise it's a green screen. This is a green screen. I'm in my house. Welcome to You Call That Radio. Tonight, we have Abdominal.
Brothers and sisters, may the peace that can only come from the one God be upon you. We are here to tell the people that we hear you.
Strange mood about.
You call that radio?
Makes coherent sense.
Welcome to You Call That Radio. I've had to take the green screen down because it's too bright and I can't read the comments. How does it sound? Is everything okay? I'm hearing some sound issues. Can you hear me okay? Is everything all right? Are you all right? Make sure you're all right. I didn't even ask. How are you doing? Let me know in the comments and let me know if the sound's okay. I'm hearing a little bit of something funny going on. Something funny going on. It's up to me. One's just a little bit slower than the other. Tonight's a special episode. We've got Abdominal in the house. And yeah, just waiting on Abdominal turning up now. Who's tuned in? Like the new jingle? Love it, actually. That's a song called Triangular Trades, which is a Jackal Trades song. Yes, actually looks like you're outside. It did, didn't it? How good's that? It's mad, isn't it? Quiet now on Twitch. Oh, no. Audio is fine, says the captain. Slightly low. I've got a wee bit of latency coming through. You've just turned yourself down. There's two marks. Turn it up. Oh, fuck. The green screen like quality, all good now. Yo, yo, yo. Turn it up. Okay, I think that should be it. No. One, two. Is that better? Even turn up audio slightly. See, there seems to be some latency coming through my headphones, which is not ideal. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Much better in Twitch. Of course it's better in Twitch. Twitch is the place to tune in. Twitch.tv/ You Call That Radio. What else is happening? Aye.
An American psychiatrist calls it audio You call that radio?
So if you just bear with me a second, I am just working on a little bit of a sound thing. I can hear. I'm just going to talk with this. So I've got some sort of latency coming through my headphones. So I can hear my own voice in a slight delay every time I talk. And I don't know if that's the reason. I don't know if it's because there's two marks or what's going on there. But I'm just going to fix this now before I bring Abdominal on, because I don't want to be. I don't think I can. I'm easily distracted. I'm way too easily distracted. There's no way I'm going to be able to handle that. There's no way I'll be able to handle that. So just bear with me a second. Let me know how you're doing in the comments. Let me know if you've got any questions for Abdominal. I'm just going to be a little second here. Okay, so the output. So input, output. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to need to do it. I don't think. I don't know if I can fix this, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I think it'll be all right, won't it? Maybe I can just be not easily distracted for the day. Just concentrate. I think everything's going to be fine.
Strange mood of our time.
You call that radio?
Here to tell the people that we hear you. One God will not allow.
You call that radio?
However you want to see it.
You call that radio?
However you want to say it, that's kind of part of the fun.
Powered by our patrons.
Brothers and sisters.
Powered by our Patreons. Evening West Sussex sounds good. Bang on. Perfect now. It's fine now. Better. Stop shouting at me. Low on Twitch. Bro, what the fuck's a podcast? Please don't drop that jingle. I don't think we have. I think that still exists. I think what we're going to be doing is just building up the podcast jingles. You can hear okay now. That's good. That's good. I'm just going to do it with this. Until Abdominal's on the screen, I'm just going to do that. Sounds better and fine on Twitch. Tell everyone to come over there. Go over there, everyone. Go over to Twitch. It's better audio, better sound quality over there. It's twitch.tv/ you call that radio. That one. I'm feeling. I feel like it's been ages since I did one of these. I'm feeling rusty, and I've got some latency in the earphones, and it's just so happens to be probably one of the biggest guests we've ever had on the show, Abdominal, who I'm a massive fan of. First heard Abdominal in a TV show This is showing my age a bit, but some of you might remember this. The Hitmix long play on Sky One. The Hitmix long play. And you know, that's where I found a lot of good bands. Like that's the first time I've ever seen the Beta Band and stuff like that. But Abdominal came on with DJ format. It was the hit song. Hits. I don't know if I can play any Abdominal music tonight because I'm pretty sure that was a massive album. So I'm sure that the robots will strike us down for that one. Just installed Twitch my phone, but no, it works great on the PC. John Mustard, love your ginger mustache. I love your ginger mustache too. Excellent. Shouts to Kirsty. Wing it, Mark. What artists have inspired Abdominal? We're about to find it. We're about to find it. He's here somewhere. That's me. But yeah. Just before he comes on, if anyone has got any ideas to get this latency out of the headphones, that'd be handy. Oh, okay. I'm going back in. How's everyone doing? I've been kind of just sort of ignoring the world for the last few days. I've heard that you've all been mourning the death of statues, arsehole statues, because they're your favourite ones, aren't they? You never get that many good cunt statues that much, do you? The arsehole statues are the most popular statues and everyone's favourite statues. Abdominal was tremendous at the Drygate. He was indeed. I think that was the DJ format gig. He's also in a band called The Obliques as well, Abdominal and The Obliques. A totally different sound, but just as cool. Fuck the slave trade statues. Bring on the good cunt statues. Why no? Sorry. Kerry, love hearts for Kerry. Blessed as always, Mark. How are you doing? I'm well. I've got the sun. It's giving me a bit of a red face and a ginger beard. I think something to do with the lighting in here as well. And I would try to do a bit of green screen stuff. I'll just try the green screen again. Let's see. I'm just going to do the same. What I'll do is I'll kind of do the same thing as I did at the beginning because there's more people tuned in. That's a cool background. So, welcome to You Call That Radio. I'm in my house. I'm in my room in my house, my usual place. This is a green screen. I promise it's a green screen. This is a green screen. I'm in my house. Welcome to You Call That Radio. Tonight, we have Abdominal.
Brothers and sisters, may the peace that can only come from the one God be upon you. We are here to tell people that we hear you.
Strange mood of our time.
You call that radio?
Makes coherent sense.
Rocking the young Wurzel Gummidge look. Thank you very much. That's what I've been going for. Kerry says that's awesome. Yeah. It was as though you were actually there. That's magic, guys. That's the magic of the green screen. This was supposed to have happened a week ago. Hold on, I'm going to get rid of that guy. This was going to happen a week ago, this interview, but because of the show must be paused podcast, we decided that the show must be paused, and we just postponed it to tonight. Abdominal, I believe, is just there. Can you hear him? Well, I'm going to play his new single, and then we'll talk about it with the man himself. It's about fishing. I don't know if there's any fishermen in the house, but this is, if there is any fishermen in the house, this is dedicated to you. Gone Fishing from the brand new EP that came out last Friday by Abdominal.
Well, if you follow me in any capacity on social media, then you don't need me to outline it for you just how much I get toward to get a line wet. Don't know what I meant, well, let me try to rephrase it. What I mean to say is more and more these days I can't be fucked about the race. Which race, you may ask? Talking about that other rat. Job, house, car, Instagram star, eat at all the right places with all the right faces. Wear the best brands, hippest fitness plans, free shoes, free gear, influencer to your peers. But it feels meaningless, surely more to it than this. But what, feeling stuck in a rut. I mean, if I'm being honest, all I really want is to go fishing, to go fishing, to go fishing. Man, I wanna go fishing, I wanna go fishing. Yeah, that's what I'm wishing. All I really want is to go fishing. But why fishing? Hey, I'm glad you asked. Simple answer, man, it's a blast. But more to it than that, let me expand. When I'm standing out there, feet upon the land, mud on my boots, dog by my side, in some remote forest with bugs buzzing by, well, that's where I find the meaning that I seek. Social media recedes and I can start.
Hello. Can you hear me? I think I fixed it. I think everything's fine. I think did I ruin it? Have I ruined things? Let me know in the comments. I tried to do a thing to fix it. I think I've fixed it, but I also think I ruined it. Did I fix it or did I ruin it? Let me know. This is a bit of a shambles at a start to a show. Sorry about this. It's fixed. Yes, aye, well done. Right, is it working? Right, cool. That's brilliant news because honestly, the idea of listening to myself in a little delay over and over again would, like, I'll be honest. I'm not in the best of forms tonight, and the idea of having to listen to my voice in a delay all night was actually going to ruin my day. But now it's fine. Everything's fixed. That wasn't a green screen. That was just in front of a field, wasn't it? It's a green screen, folks. It's special effects. It's fixed, but there's only one mark. Thank you very much. Everything seems good in Twitch. It's fixed. It's fixed. Everything's fine. Now all we need is like an absolute Toronto Canadian hip hop legend, and this show is back on track. Isn't it? That's all we need now to turn this from a shambles into a life-changing bit of content. Fucking hate the word content. Hate it. I'm going to play one more tune and speak to Toronto. I'm going to get Toronto on the phone right now.
Don't get it twisted, pup. I still rip shit up, even if it's only on drums and some strings getting plucked. I don't require that hit from today's hit producer. Producing a buzz and set on the strength. My shit's smoother than a bomb Vic's Maury. Confused? Get your entomology game up. Means silkworm, dude, making me pretty smooth indeed, sure you agree. Now that we've adequately cleared up what the simile means. I mean, I'm smoother than a smoothie made from blended smooth things. I'm the smoothest diamond, you're a headshot move ray. Who's flashing gray, which according to the index means anxious and strained, plain to see why. Cause I be flying MCs try to reach my elite style of speech. I beseech guys to keep trying, but deep inside I keep in mind they need to find new dreams to blindly seek, and while they're seeking blindly, I'll keep freaking these rhymes. See, I'm a good talker. Saying I talk good is kinda like saying water's good at being wet, or that birds are good at flying shit. Basically, in other words, slick talking, I define it, rewind it. If you feel the need to test a theory being I got more flow than water in an estuary, necessary sometimes to get it across the dumb minds. Raps overcast on sunshines, they coming up with dumb rhymes. Nah, dummy, not dumb meaning dumb, dumb meaning not dumb. Refuse to dumb it down, I'd rather stay dumb. Like mute, you know, capiche, comprendes? Abdominal sobre el micrófono, tengo estilos diferentes. And I'm not even Spanish, brother. I'm just a language lover who loves to banter, uttering witticisms rhythmically in a rhyming fashion, drafting unsurpassed paragraphs, my driving passion.
Brilliant stuff. I've just got some news from Toronto that, you know, I don't know if you know this, but Toronto is a different place. Oh, hold on. Did you know that Toronto is a different place? I don't know if you know this, but so, you know how you get places like you get Glasgow and you get Edinburgh and you get Fife, and you know you get places in that. Toronto is in a place called Canada, which is a totally different place. They have different ways of doing things. They even go to bed at different times of night. They wake up at different times. They have different kinds of animals. They have different types of weather. And one of the things that is very different from us is the time difference. So, I don't know if you were aware of this. See if a place is in a different part of the world, they sometimes have different times. You know, like right now, it's 25 past 7. So I see the world as if it's 25 past 7. But you might think, oh, well, it's 25 past 7. Check your watch, is it 25 past 7 where you are? So, well, of course it's 25 past 7. Anyone who says it's not 25 past 7 is a liar. Liar. But that's not the case. Different places have different times. So right now, although it seems like it's evening, in Canada, it's morning, breakfast time. Tim Tim Norton. Is Tim Norton the Canadian thing, breakfast thing? He's probably having a Tim Norton now. So let's see. Sideshow Mall says 8:25 where I am. You're in the future. Amazing, mate. Amazing. Tim Horton. I've never had a Tim Hortons, but I know that's really the only Canadian food. But there's a good example. So Tim Hortons, now that's a thing that existed in Canada, but now it came to Glasgow. So times are confusing, but we do have him here live from Toronto. Can you hear me?
I can, man. Apologies for the mix-up there.
No worries at all, man. I was just explaining to the audience, some of them weren't aware that Canada is a completely different place from Scotland.
This is true.
And I understand that as well as being far away, you have different time zones.
And I thought, see, typically, I believe Scotland is 5 hours ahead of where I'm at in Canada and Toronto. But I did my research to be sure. And Google is telling me that right now it's actually only 4 hours ahead, I guess, because of daylight savings time discrepancies. So I thought I had time, but apparently not.
Discrepancies indeed, mate. Why do we do this to ourselves? It takes me 6 months to get into the swing of things. I feel comfortable. I know what time it is. And then someone's got to just say, no, we are now going back in time by an hour, or you're getting catapulted into the future by an hour. Exactly. Does Canada not mess with that? Do Canada just stick to the same time?
No, we do. But I think that the times that we go ahead and come back are perhaps a little different than Scotland and the rest of the UK. So
that's exactly what I was explaining to these people. Our viewers, see, they're mostly Scottish. So I was explaining that things are different over there. It's a different place. It's not like Glasgow. It's not like Edinburgh. Canada is just its own thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, even within Canada, because it's so vast, we have multiple time zones, even just within the country, for that matter.
Wow.
Yeah, I think.
Someone. I don't know much. I was trying to guess what time it was down there, and I was thinking it's probably breakfast time. He's probably having a Tim Norton's, because I don't know. It's actually Tim Horton.
You know,
I've never actually.
You know,
I've never been.
A Tim Hortons literally just opened around the corner from my place, and I just went out to the post office. I just got back with a takeout Tim Hortons 6 donuts. So you're exactly right, man. I'm living up to the Canadian stereotype to a T.
Yes,
you called it, bro.
Guess what I had for breakfast.
I mean, if we're gonna stick with the cliches,
let's stick with the cliches, mate.
Should I venture and say a haggis?
A haggis. It's exactly how. How did you know this stuff?
Well, and I'll go one further. Did you wash it down with a buckfast?
A buckfast, aye. Well, I started with you having an iron brew, then you have the haggis, and then you have the buckfast.
That's the order. That's the
with a super tea chaser, and then you go to Greg's and you get a pie to wash that down as well.
Oh, damn, man. Then you sleep
but
for a month.
There is no great because of the lockdown, man. It's the food's very different. You've got to get places that don't normally do takeaways are doing takeaways.
True.
Places that you wouldn't expect to do takeaways, or they've got to do it to survive.
Yeah.
What's happening in Canada? Just Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons just opens. They're still popping up though. There's one in Glasgow. I've never been in it. I don't know what it does, but
I actually went to the one somewhere in Scotland. I can't remember if it was Glasgow, but yeah, I was walking by one morning after a show, and sure enough, I stumbled upon a Tim Hortons. I was like, "What the?" So I had to pop in and get a little taste of home. I saw they were doing their global expansion. So,
yep, it was Glasgow. There's one in Glasgow. I think it was a couple of years ago. To me, it still feels like it's new. When I see it, I still think this is fresh. This is new. But it's actually been a few years. I think it's been a few years.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, when I went in, I think it just opened, but yeah, it was a couple of years ago when.
But for me, it's still fresh. It still feels fresh. We'll tell you what else is fresh, Abdominal. That new EP of yours.
Indeed, man. Yeah, I saw. I mean, I logged on. I was just like kind of watching the feed because, as I said, I thought I still had a good 40 minutes. So I'm like, oh, I'll just check it out. And I saw you were playing that video. And I was like, I better like check my timing. I think maybe I get on air here.
It was actually good though, because I was actually having some technical issues. There was
Okay.
2 of me on the screen, and there was a bit of latency. So I'm glad that it was the timing's perfect. Don't worry about that. The
All right,
timing's
well.
perfect. Do you know what else has got perfect timing? That new Abdominal EP.
Yeah,
Tell us
yeah,
about
man.
that.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks for playing it. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, we weren't planning to release it quite so soon. The 3 songs on the EP were really more meant for our next full album, and they're still meant to eventually find a place on our new full album. But we kind of figured, the band and I, with the whole lockdown in effect, we have no clue when we're next going to all be able to get into a studio. So we're like, you know what, in the meantime, we're sitting on these 3 tracks. Let's just, people are sitting at home, seem like they're starved for culture and music specifically. So we're like, let's just get it out to the people and see what happens.
It's a good idea, man. And also,
Yeah.
as something that I think is quite a good idea as well, is that just release an EP and then release the same songs again on an album. Because I think your super fans are going to tune in for the EP. It gives them something to look forward to, get them excited. But everyone still wants that full out. That is a full piece of work.
Yeah, true.
How is it? Is the new EP out on CD, or is it just on a digital download?
Yeah, it's only the 3 songs, so we're like, we'll just do it digital only, and trying to set it on Bandcamp as pay what you want, which technically means free, because I know times are tough for a lot of people. So, yeah, so we made it easy, just digital, as I said, pay what you want, and then eventually, when we are able to do the full LP, then of course we will do the full range, CDs, vinyl, maybe cassettes. But for now, yeah, it's just like easy, simple download kind of thing, or streaming if you want to do the usual Spotify's or the Apple Music, whatever.
That's good stuff, man.
Hey, hold on. Does it help? Is it better? Is it better if I hold the phone horizontal? Yeah, that looks better, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that helps.
All right.
I'm a big fan of Bandcamp. See, over the years as an artist,
Same.
I think that the pay what you like model is something that Spotify's kind of ruined a little bit, because there was a time where I just felt like because of the success of Spotify, it seems like Bandcamp's taken a little bit of a hit. But it has been good that they've been bringing out that 100% of all the money goes to the artists, having those in specific days.
Totally.
So hopefully Bandcamp's making a wee bit of a comeback with that stuff, because like as an artist, for me, it's been great. I love the idea of because it doesn't cost, once you've actually put something out digitally, you don't have to send out digital downloads. It's all taken care of, and people get to decide if they can afford it. If they think you're worth it, they can just put in a donation.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, Bandcamp, I think they're raking in, even, well, especially now with the whole, as you're saying, I think it's like the first Friday of every month they're doing now is they waive their share and just give 100% to the artists, all the proceeds. So especially on those days, they're pulling in crazy, like millions and millions of dollars. So it's pretty encouraging to see. And what else was I going to say, man, about the Bandcamp thing? Yeah, it's just like, I mean, the one thing, I don't know. To me, I don't know why they don't do. It's still kind of focused the Bandcamp on the downloads. Like, obviously, if you pay to purchase a download, then you're able to stream that particular album or that EP or whatever, that single. But I don't know why Bandcamp doesn't open up and also offer a streaming service similar to Spotify. So rather than having to purchase like one particular release, you just pay a monthly subscription, same way you do on Spotify. And you have access to all the music they have on their site, and you just do a streaming, like same with Spotify. Like, to me, it's a no-brainer because they already have the technology. As I said, you can already stream the stuff that you're specifically purchasing. So I don't know why they don't just open it up. That would be like, and they could stick with their philosophy of give the artists like a better percentage than what Spotify pays. So I don't know why they don't do that, but.
Yeah, I mean, I think the app isn't the best for Bandcamp. I would say the app's a bit clunky, but there is definitely a market there for them to jump into streaming. Although my guess is the reason that they wouldn't do it is because part of their whole shtick is Spotify's the enemy, and Spotify is encouraging. I mean, the people that run Spotify say, "Oh no, this is just an advert for your music. We want them to buy your music eventually." But Spotify is such a good app now that
Yeah.
nobody's actually going to encourage to buy. They might encourage people to go to a show though. But
True. Well, I mean, that was the model pre-pandemic times, and now it's like, yeah, you get the pennies a glass on the streaming, but then there's no show to follow up with. So it's like you can't get the show money, you can't get the merch money for the foreseeable future. So you're kind of stuck with the 0.0001 cent per stream on Spotify, full stop, and then you have no other means to, there's no other revenue streams now. So it's definitely tougher. But to me, it's like the streaming itself is not the enemy. It's just the actual percentages. So that's why I come back to, like, if Bandcamp embraced the streaming but stuck with their philosophy of like being fair to artists, same way they do with the downloads, then it's like a win-win situation. So I don't know why they don't do that. But
that's a very good point. Yeah, if they just like put a decent amount in the cut, yeah. Spotify must be making money there. I mean, they're making money.
It's just so convenient, man. Like, you can't fight the convenience, right? It's like, of course, artists are going to argue, but like, I use Spotify myself, right? It's so.
Well, I did fight the convenience. I fought it. I fought the convenience for about 5 years, then I was in a car and someone had premium, and that was the first time I thought it was shite because I'd only tried the free version. But
that's what I did too. Just the free
but I had the premium. I was like, oh right, now I get why people are liking this.
Yeah.
And they've got a good algorithm that kind of guesses what kind of music you're going to be into. So it's like if you play, if I play my new Abdominal track, I'm going to get stuff. It's going to throw me some Jurassic 5 and some of your peers and contemporaries.
Sure.
Let's go back to the start a wee bit, man. When did you first become a rapper and just think this is what I want to do?
Oh shit, man. I mean, I got to go back even before then. Just as a fan, I guess I was, really for me, it started. I was a big skateboarder. That was sort of my history coming up. Avid skateboarder. So back in the late '80s, early '90s, heavy into skateboarding. So me and my friends, we were listening, I would say, equal parts to punk music and then also hip hop. The early days, like Run DMC and Beastie Boys and Third Base, all that kind of stuff. So it was really, I don't think I didn't set out being like, I want to be a professional rapper, or even I want to be a rapper at all. It was kind of, I just rap along to all the acts that I was listening to, really more as a fan, as I said. But then a good skateboarding buddy of mine here in Toronto, DJ Sirius, he bought a very basic DJ/producer setups and started making some very simple, frankly, shit beats. And it was like, I need someone to try their hand rapping over these beats. So I was like, yeah, that sounds like fun. I think I could probably do that. So I started churning out some equally atrocious raps. And together we joined forces and created probably some of the worst rap music ever created in the history of the world. But, I had fun doing it. But again, it was like years. I was doing it for fun, shits and giggles, kind of after skateboard sessions, whatever. So I don't know, kind of just was like a gradual transition where I was also very into like visual art. I went to art college here. So I was doing that really professionally, like started doing it on a freelance basis once I got out of school, like drawing for newspapers and magazines. And that was kind of like late 90s, early 2000s. But I just kind of gradually was getting busier with the music and like actually started to make some money and do shows. And I think around that time is when Format got in touch with me. And that's really when obviously stuff started popping off a little bit for us. Man. For me, like started doing the tours. So I started getting a little just too busy with the music. So I didn't really have time to continue with the visual art. So at that point I made like a conscious decision. I think right around the time Format's first album came out 2003 that like I'm gonna really try to pursue this full time. So that's in a nutshell. That's my the history, the timeline.
Well, that's when the DJ Format album came out. I seen that video. That was the first time I was introduced to your music, and I think it was the hit song. I think.
Okay. Yeah.
And instantly, just absolutely loved it, man. And
thanks, man.
It was a big tune. It was a big tune. It's still a big tune. And we had some comments earlier on from John McMustard who was saying that the Drygate gig was brilliant. and I was at that one as well, and it was good to see
Nice.
you in format. And it's just it was good to see. It's been a while since I'd actually seen a DJ and an MC coming together as a partnership, as a live spectacle for a while. It seems to have somehow, it's a bit of a lost art these days. You might have, there's a lot of people just, well, in the local scene, there's a lot of people just using backing tracks and not embracing the live DJ element.
Yeah,
but also sometimes there is live DJs, but they're just sitting there playing the laptop, and there's no personalities, or there's no friendship between the artists. But it just seemed to me that when I was watching you two guys together, it looked like you were just having a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And really, like the first tour we ever did together, pretty lucky, was opening up for Jurassic 5, like right when Format's first album dropped in 2003. So really, like touring with those guys, that to me, that's like the pinnacle of live hip hop experiences. Like them, the Roots. There's a few other acts where it really is a focus on showmanship and not just, as you're saying, like, okay, press play, here's the next song, gonna rap, press play, here's the next one. So to be with those guys night in, night out, and really see how they work a crowd, not just the four MCs like harmonizing in their interaction, but as you say, they have two of the best DJs in the game with Newmark and Cut Chemist. So how those guys are incorporated into the whole show. So, I think me and Format already had that aesthetic, that philosophy, but that really hammered it home. Like, you got to bring something extra to the table. You can't just go like recreate the records. Otherwise, what's the point? People can just sit home in the comfort of their home and just listen to the CD, listen to the vinyl. So you got to step it up a little bit, bring something extra to the live experience, I think.
Yeah, well, I've had been in a rock band and done some hip hop stuff as well, and because I'm used to being in a band scenario, the idea of just going up with the backing track for me is just quite it's quite scary as well. I suppose it's I just don't feel like there's obviously I'm not in any great levels a fantastic live rapper. Like it's not technically good enough, I don't think, to get away with it. There is certain people that can just jump up a backing track, but as for someone who's a massive fan of hip hop, I think unless there's a live DJ there, I'm going to get bored of pretty much any artist after 10, 20 minutes. It might be good for a few tunes, but there's only so much you can do just using a backing track. That's what was really interesting as well. I mean, I loved the DJ Format gig. That's that some of those tunes are absolute. I grew up with, but then also I loved your band stuff as well. Totally different vibe, but something really cool. You can hear your lyrics more. I think when you're taking it down a bit, sort of more that kind of would you say an unplugged sound, like a more mellow sound to it?
Yeah, man. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. That was really like 100% the reason why I started doing the live band project. Was I always. Yeah, to me, I came into hip hop not so much from the beat side of thing, although of course I love a banging beat like anybody else. But really, it was always the love for the raps, for the rhymes, the very intricate, dope wordplay. So that's always kind of been my approach. So yeah, it's like, if you spend hours and hours and days and weeks at times penning like this incredible masterpiece, and then you show up at a venue, not like Drygate, but perhaps a somewhat lesser sound system where it's like super bass heavy and the beats are crazy loud and all your lyrics are getting lost in the mix. It's kind of like, man, why did I go to all this effort when it's just sounding like yo, like typical rap show type of stuff. So I was like, yeah, man, I want to do something. Don't get me wrong, I have fun doing the straight ahead traditional rap stuff with Format, that kind of stuff. But I was like, I want to do something that really does focus a bit more on the lyrics. As you said, a little more mellow. It's not unplugged. Like, it still is like electric guitar and that kind of thing. But still, the overall sound is definitely like a little more chill than the typical rap stuff. So,
and you get a chair. You get to sit in a chair if you want.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want, you can just sit in a chair and no one bats an eyelid.
Oh, that's pretty much every show. I mean, the first album was called Sitting Music, very intentionally. It's like I have no problem if people want to dance to it, but I know what I'm going to do as the performer.
Just going to have a wee sit.
I'm not a spring chicken anymore, man. I want to just take a load off, have a nice pint, maybe pint of Guinness, whatever, or like big cold glass of Buckfast, and just take my time and like, yeah, I always really envisioned like when we toured. I toured the UK once with the band, and hopefully once all this shit lifts, we'll be able to do that again with the new material. But you know, we did play some traditional clubs, but we also had some gigs like almost daytime gigs in pubs. And that was really the vibe I was going for, where it's like more mellow. As I said, some people are dancing, but some people are just chilling, like sipping on their pints, and just like really taking in the lyrics, taking in the music. So that was sort of my desire with the band.
I've just go through some of the comments. Kirsty says, I was at the Nice and Sleazy's gig years ago too, Abdominal and DJ format. Do you remember Nice and Sleazy's?
It's all kind of a blur, man. Like I think I think we might have played there multiple times, to be honest. But yeah,
well, that's the first. I think Sleazy's. That was if I remember rightly, that was the first time I met you. I did some spoken word poetry,
okay.
and you came up and asked me if I had a CD or a lyric book for sale, and I was blown away. I thought that was really nice of you.
Yeah, I think I do remember that actually.
Yeah, I didn't have any merch because I'm shy at that kind of thing. But no, I really appreciated that, and that was I think that was Sleazy's that you played with the Obliques, and it was DJ format gig was at Sleazy's. I think Jade, who booked the gigs, is actually tuned in, so maybe Jade can help us with it.
Big ups to Jade, man. Great dude. I love that dude.
Absolutely. Jade does so much hard work behind the scenes in music, so shout outs to Jade.
Yeah,
and Jade, let us know which gig was Sleazy's and what gig was Drygate. I mean, the Jade sort of took you on a little tour of Scotland.
Yeah, that was funny, man. I didn't even expect Jade necessarily to. Yeah, we did that tour, and we had like one booking agent who basically did England, and then Jade took care of all the Scottish leg of that tour. So, you know, we were corresponding obviously ahead of time, but I didn't really anticipate him like hopping in the van with us and basically joining us for that entire leg of the journey. So it was a unexpected, pleasant surprise because we really all kind of bonded and had a great little mini tour within the tour with Jade, on board with us. So yeah, it was fun times.
Good shout outs to Jade. He is an absolute legend. Dapper Dunk says, I met Abdominal selling merchandise in the venue in Edinburgh at a format gig.
Nice. Also, man, bit of a blur, but like shout outs to you for helping at the merch table. Yeah, because like, you know, it's usually very streamlined when we tour. So we don't have like big bucks to pay an official merch person or anything. So we always, if you've come to any of our shows, you know it's to a certain extent format, but like 95% me manning the merch table. Usually how it works is like sometimes we have an opening act, sometimes we don't, and more often than not format goes up and spins records both before and usually after we do like the live show aspect. And while he's up on stage doing that, I'm typically manning the merch booth. But then obviously for like the main part of the show, then it's like we have an unmanned merch booth with all the stuff. So usually I'm able to find just a friendly local who can kind of, I can gauge, yeah, I can probably trust this dude. I'll throw him a t-shirt, a couple beers or something, and they'll just sit and man the merch booth for me. So shout outs to my man. I forget you said what his name was.
Dapper Dunk.
Dapper Dunk. Props to you, man. Thanks for helping out. I hope I hooked you up with something for your troubles. I hope you could see the show also. You had a good sight line from the merch.
That's a very important thing about the merch thing, isn't it? It's the same with the, you know, as a promoter myself, that sometimes you need to get someone to work on the door because you can't do it. And now the working on the door is one of the easiest jobs as long as you can see the show. You know, but you could get put in a really bad scenario where you don't actually get to see the show.
Yeah.
Shout outs to everyone who does these jobs are very important.
Absolutely, man. All the sound people out there making us sound crispy. You know, it's all the unsung heroes of the touring life.
We've got Tam the Van's here. He said that, yeah, I know what he means. 2 year loop in the van. He's talking about your album, bought the CD.
Oh, nice. Hold on, I'm gonna just shut my door. There's some construction happening outside, so hopefully I'll help to There we go.
Yeah, so Tam had construction's outside.
Yeah, I mean it's summertime in Canada, right? So there's a limited window for construction. So basically, summer is just like AKA construction season. It's
So
like,
lockdown's not affecting that. It's like, no, this needs done. Construction needs done.
yeah, well, it did shut down. I think they kind of reopened all that stuff. Well, like all the more reason why it's going full force now, because all that stuff reopened about 2 weeks ago here. So yeah.
So you were is Canada over the worst of it, or what we think?
It kind of
I don't know.
ranges from province to province. So the province that I'm in, that Toronto's in, Ontario, is one of the worst hit ones. So we're not doing so hot, to be honest. So we'll see. I mean, but the thing is, especially with Canada, because it's cold weather so much of the year, probably similar in parts of Scotland. And now that the nice weather's starting to hit, it's like good luck convincing people to maintain the whole lockdown thing. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's been strange. Scotland's actually had one of the best runs of sunshine for May.
Oh, okay.
I think in decades.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think there's been. I think we're about to find out in 2 weeks' time how well we're doing it. But between the good weather and obviously there's been lots of protests going on and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting either way to find out in 14 days what the fallout of all that stuff is. Sorry, I interrupted Tam the Van, actually. Sorry, Tam. Tam had your album in the van on a 2-year loop.
Oh, man, much appreciated, Tam. Thank you. I hope
He's
it's
another
not, totally didn't drive you totally crazy.
Yeah, I was in the van many times as well, because Tam's one of the unsung heroes who he's got a van, so sometimes we need a man with a van, and he's the man to help.
Nice.
And he's got, and that's him. I mean, that's actually, that's the only time that actually, if I like an artist now, I'll buy a CD to support the artist, but I don't actually listen to CDs.
Yeah.
I just give them to Tam because I'm in his van and he's got a CD player. So sometimes it's the way it's. But at the end of the day, it's just about supporting the artist rather than actually using the CD.
Yeah, true. Well, you know what? I got to be honest, man. I still have a huge CD collection. And as much as I said, I do listen to Spotify. I also have, in the past few months, I've been going back. We bought, my wife and I, just a little kind of wall mount CD player for the kitchen. So I'm kind of having fun over breakfast. Like, rather than doing Spotify, I'll just actually go, like the old days, select one album and just like take the time over breakfast to properly listen to a full album the way it was intended to be listened to.
Exactly.
So I'm kind of enjoying that, getting back into that.
It's a lost art. And I wonder, there's just so much saturation just now in music. I wonder how many great albums are getting lost and left behind, because what you tend to do is you listen for that good song you like, then you add that to your playlist, the one that stands out. And as we all know, when you listen to an album, there's usually a big song that will rope you in. But every good album will throw up surprises, and after multiple repeat listens, you're going to find an absolute gem that took a few listens to get to know.
And obviously a big part of it too is the sequence, right? Like, album in theory takes you on a journey. So as much as it is about the big single, it's also like, you got to build up to that, and like sometimes there's a story beyond just the one song, but over the whole span of the album. So.
Absolutely.
I guess like to listen to it in context is what I'm saying is sometimes important.
Are You Really Alive says third base, derelicts of dialect, skating anthems.
For sure, man. And like that's the case in point, right? Those guys would do especially back in the 90s, would do all the skits and all that kind of stuff, which obviously you're missing that if you're just on Spotify. You're not going to get all the little interludes, and that was such an integral part of hip hop back in the 90s. Like, the skits, but also the little instrumental interludes that like Primo would put in, for example. That's just such a integral part of the album. That's like a lost art, I think, these days.
Yeah, the thing as well is, if you've got interludes on your album, then the algorithm's just going to throw up these random skits on your playlist.
True. Yeah.
I don't know what this means, Marie. Marie's tuned in. She says, didn't even get started about space time. Is this a Canadian thing?
I don't know what that is. I have no clue what that is. Can you elaborate, Marie?
Yes, Marie. It was because I think this is going back. This is when we were talking about with Tim Horton. Someone said true Canadian. Because it was round about then. I was just going back to those. So I don't know. We'll find out, Marie. Get back in touch. She's also goes by the name of Dr. Fanny. Sometimes she's got some interesting chat, so I'm sure that there'll be a good point to it. Right. Jamie says, "Abs, we met at Edinburgh Bleak Show.
Of course, man, I remember Jamie Shooney. You don't have to elaborate, man. I remember that for sure. Yeah, that was a good time, man. Isn't Jamie? Are you the one that's like? I don't know if you quit music altogether, but are you the one that's like focusing on the dart career now?
No, that's Shooney that's focused on the dart career.
I knew one of them because I see every now and again I see a little snippet on social media. I was like, that's kind of a cool, quick career 180, you know?
Yes, 180. Yeah, man. I think Shooney quit music for darts. Right. Jamie quit Scotland for Australia, and then Shooney quit darts for Australia, and then they both had to run back from Australia to Scotland before all travel got cancelled.
So then the obvious conclusion is Jamie and Shooney are back then.
They're back, but they can't play gigs because there's nowhere to play gigs.
Yeah, true.
But you're allowed to go to supermarkets, and they've been known to busk in the middle of a supermarket before.
There you go. That's if you gotta find the little loophole.
There's always a loophole in there. People are searching for loopholes right now. There is probably not for the air, but there is going to be loopholes. What about just getting a van, getting all the music equipment set up, backline, sound system, and just driving through the town to different areas and playing music to people in their houses?
That'd be cool, man. Yeah, I'd definitely be into that. I mean, well, there's not exactly the scenario you're describing, but maybe sort of like same ballpark is just like close to me, around a block from me. There's a jazz trumpeter. So every Friday at 9 p.m. he comes on his balcony and does like a solo trumpet concert for the neighborhood. So that's pretty dope. There has been like creative stuff. Again, not specifically the van, but like people are doing creative stuff like that.
Yeah, there was, I think people in Italy were singing opera songs to each other. Yeah. Scotland, not really seen much of that stuff, but people are doing lots of creative stuff. I'm excited. Just try to look at the positive. You've got to try and look at the positives because it's a horrible situation that we're all going through. Everybody's got.
Yep.
So some of us are more lucky than others, but everyone's a bit fucked right now.
Yep.
This could be an actual wave of creativity, though. Do you know what I mean? Because all these artists who don't have time, they're always touring, so they don't have time to actually go back and get to the right headspace to record.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, how many bands do you know that made that a shite second album because they were recording it on the road because the record label rushed it?
For sure, man. Yeah, that's like the classic sophomore jinx. I think it's also because typically, you're saving up all your best material from pretty much your entire life leading up to your first album. And then you might have success. And then, whether you're touring or not, it's still like you're expected to deliver a second album in a much quicker window than your first one. So, inevitably, it's a little rushed compared to your debut album always.
Yeah, because your debut album is practically a best of. And then they're like, all right, do another best of, but this time you've got 6 months and you've got to do it on the road and you've probably got a drink and drug problem now. And it's, aye.
Yeah.
What I thought I'd do is I'm going to play one of a tune that I loved. I had your tunes on shuffle, old school downloads, but I don't have Spotify on an app, so I had the downloads on my iPhone. I was having a cycle. I just put the opposite of what we're talking about. I just wanted to listen to a shuffle, so it wasn't the opposite of listening from start to finish.
Hey, it's all good. I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying, sometimes it's cool to do.
I feel a wee bit judged. I feel a bit not judged. I feel guilty. I feel like I think
ultimately, end of the day, I'm just happy.
I agree with the concept of an album, and now I look like a fool. I look like an absolute liar. I'm a hypocrite.
Listen, I'm saying ultimately, I'm just happy people listen to my music, period. So however they want to listen, whether it's like focus, not doing anything else, if they're multitasking, whatever, man. Like just, yeah.
The best way to listen to Abdominal is by getting your local jazz musician to replicate it through a trumpet on a balcony next to Tim Hortons. But I thought this is a good one. Dirt.
Which one's this?
Dirt. Sorry, it's my accent.
Yeah, I know.
Dirt.
Oh,
Dirt.
I got you. I'm with you.
It's a bit fast, that word in Scottish, isn't it? Dirt. There's not enough really to go on. But yes, a good tune. I don't know now. Sometimes when we play bands' music, we get into sometimes copyright strikes and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, okay.
But I'm just going to do it anyway. It's fine.
YouTube,
you give me permission. You're
up
for it.
YouTube, I give full permission. I'm the creator.
Do you think it works like that? Imagine it's just that simple. And you did write the song. You wrote your own words.
Yeah, man. I wrote that. Am I saying it right?
Listen, YouTube robots. Abdominal wrote dirt, and he doesn't mind us playing it. So yeah, let's go for a bit of that. I just thought we'd play a wee tune.
Cool.
And I thought that was let's go for it. Let's go for that one. And if anyone's got any sorry, mate.
We're going to continue the conversation after?
Stay
on? Okay.
No, I'll put the video on, I'll put the song on, and we'll come back and talk about it. If anyone's got any questions for Abdominal, now's your chance to leave something in the comments as well, and I'll try and ask the questions for him as well. But this is Dirt.
Shiny condos, auto-tune pop singers, Botox wrinkles, manicured fingers, tightly packed food. Man, you can even find wrapped fruit. Ironic, given that most fruit already have their own natural peers. But I guess the saran option appeal more to marketing groups. And so they carved up the fruit into stark little cubes for people living in stark little cubes. Now don't get it twisted, I got nothing against people existing in condominiums chewing on fruit shapes. I'm aware space and time are limited these days. And so people gotta do what they gotta. I get it, so far be it from me to knock the hustle. Consider this more of a general observation, and that is things are too clean for my tastes. And man, I miss the dirt. Dirty back alleys, dirty stain on my shirt. Dirty buildings and dirty old cities. Dirty old floppy gun augmented titties. Dirty unquantized drums. Dirty crumbs and dirty diners frequented by dirty bums. Yes, sir, I miss the dirt. So fuck a bar of soap, man, I wanna feel the earth between my toes just like nature intended. Cause things are too clean and impeccably tended. Everything's sterilized, spotless, and white. And I'm the dirtiest thing in sight. Plus, let's not forget sound, you heard me? Yes, I get dirty. So don't disturb me with hand gel, cause I prefer to be very dirty and dusty. Trust me, natural must be musty. Dirtiest thing is sound down to the ground. Abs and format keeps it dirty when we throw it down. Everything's sterilized, spotless, and white. And I'm the dirtiest thing in sight. Plus, let's not forget sound, you heard me? Yes, I get dirty. So don't disturb me with sanitizer, I prefer to be very dirty and dusty. Trust me, natural must be musty. Dirtiest thing is sound down to the ground. As a format, we keeps it dirty when we throw it down. These days, everything designed to hide the so-called blemishes, filters, Photoshop, gym memberships, all of the obsessive quest for perfection. Or at least the perception as such in our social media presences. But the flip side to that, of course, is if we're all using those same tools, then it's inevitable that we end up looking identical, like fish in a school. But my school was that original hip-hop philosophy, which taught to me always be an individual and never copy. Which kind of means embracing your supposed blemishes, cause they're what distinguishes you from all of them fishes swimming around out in the sea of humanity. Cause why be a schoolfish when you could be a manatee, doing his own thing, unique, quirky, beloved by all, and most of all dirty. Substrate mud wallowing, fuck following, primarily solitary, just gobbling, hydrilla, plus leaves of mangroves. So next time your self-esteem ranks low, just channel your inner sea cow. Be proud, yo, how you like me now to the world while rolling in the proverbial mud. Get dirty and fuck washing up. Everything sterilized, spotless, and white. And I'm the dirtiest thing in sight. Plus, let's not forget sound, you heard me? Yes, I get dirty. So don't disturb me with hand gel, cause I prefer to be very dirty and dusty. Trust me, natural must be musty. The dirtiest thing is down to the ground. Abs and format keeps it dirty when we throw it down. Everything sterilized, spotless, and white. And I'm the dirtiest thing in sight. Plus, let's not forget sound, you heard me? Yes, I get dirty. So don't disturb me with sanitizer, I prefer to be very dirty and dusty. Trust me, natural must be musty. The dirtiest thing is down to the ground. As a format, we keeps it dirty when we throw it down.
I got you. Ready? Yeah, he's 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yo, this is Charlie Tuna from Jurassic 5 live and direct here in Glasgow, Scotland, and you call that radio?
We are here to tell the people that we hear you. One God will not allow us as people of conscience to lose our morale. We see the crimes of this government, how they support every dictator and criminal on this earth. Sometimes you can feel down. Sometimes
It's You Call That Radio. You are tuned in. We have a very special guest. We've got Abdominal in the house.
Hello, hello.
I think, what a tune, mate. I love that.
Oh, thanks so much.
That was like, must have been like getting the old band back together. It was the one the fans wanted, was Still Hungry.
Yeah, I mean, Foreman and I did a 10-year reunion tour of the UK back in 2015. And both of us kind of felt like we didn't just want to get back out there and rehash the old hits, if you will. We're like, we need to at least have some new music to justify doing this. So we put out 2 songs, and the intention was just to do that tour, and that was it. And then we're going to kind of go our separate ways and work on our respective projects. I was going to go back to working with the band, but right from the first show, I think the first show that tour, that was in 2015. First show was in Manchester, and it was like sold out, people going crazy, just like the old days, like rapping every word. And both of us finished that show just like, what the fuck just happened, man? That was crazy. So even just right after that first show, we were driving back to the hotel, and we were like, new album, new tour, oh my God, crazy, stop the presses. So yeah, that reunion tour kind of then morphed into us doing this full album, Still Hungry, together, and then did a couple more tours of the UK and Scotland and Ireland on the strength of that album. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. As much as, like I'm saying, kind of these days, in my slightly more ripened age, my heart is a little more with the band project. I still do, of course, have fun doing the straight up hip hop stuff and working with Matt in particular, you know, like our musical relationship, but just, you know, he's a great dude. So even just touring with anyone is tough. Obviously, like you're in packed, condensed conditions, being in the car day in, day out. But yeah, Matt's a really like cool, laid back dude. So we always have fun touring together and working together. So
how many Guinnesses can you have without affecting the show the next day traveling?
I mean, I don't really like to drink at all before the show, just because, again, most of my stuff, if you're familiar with my material, it's like pretty intricate, pretty wordy. So it's that thing. It's like the magic fine line with like, yeah, I can maybe have 2 beers and then I'm going to be like super MC, but then you have 1 sip and like you cross that line and then it's just a total shit show. So I don't really like to risk it. But, you know, after the show, really, neither of us are super big rock stars. So after the show, I might enjoy 2 or 3 nice cold drinks, and that's about it. I find, like, even when I'm living super healthy while on the road, tour life, like I'm doing the orange juice, going to bed early, eating well, it's still like devastating and takes its toll on me. Let alone if I'm being Mr. Rockstar. Like back when we were at really touring in the peak, like the early 2000s. Sure, I had a couple like benders and like got to really experience that life. But I'm like, I'm cool. I've been there, done that. I had that taste. Right now, I'm just like, I want to get in, get out. Kind of, I hate to say it, but make my money. Like do the shows, be professional, and just like get my sleep, get home. I'm cool with that.
We've got Kirsty wants to know if you've ever dabbled in battle rap.
I did a few battles here in Toronto. It was never like really super my thing, especially like the battles these days. You know, I do watch. It's been a few years, but like I was watching some of that stuff. Like I'm talking about the battle leagues where it's all a cappella, like no beats, and that stuff's dope, man. It's very entertaining. I find some of those guys, it's incredible. I love watching that stuff. But you know, that didn't even really exist back when I was battling. It was like, first of all, you know, because all those battles, aside from being a cappella, most of it's all like pre-written. Like you know who your opponent's going to be months ahead. You're like meticulously Googling and studying that person and writing specifically to that person. So battling back when I was dabbling in it, it was a different animal. It was like
it's more fun as well. I mean, I think that right now a lot of the battles it goes quite extreme.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Does, man. And it's also like it was all freestyle. Like back when I was doing it, it was all freestyle. You didn't know who you were gonna battle, so it was just straight up like you're wearing a flannel, y'all fucking change the channel. You know, it's just like on the spot shit. It's not just like crazy intricate rhyme schemes, that kind of thing. So yeah, as I said, I kind of did a few here and there, but it was never like my main thing.
Well, actually, CJ's asked a good question that kind of follows it up as well. What's his view on freestyle, and does he have any advice for people who do? This guy, CJ, is a young guy from Scotland. He is probably one of the best freestylers in the country just now. He's still young. He doesn't actually record any of his stuff. We've had him on the show a couple of times. We're like, you need to record some music, mate, because he's really dope. But you know that way, he's just that rare gift that I mean. I've had a few times where I feel comfortable enough in the right audio, you know, with your friends, having a few beers, and you know that everyone's on the same level, and you can have fun with it. But it's not something that I'm naturally. I would rather come out with a pre-written over a beat, you know, like a kind of than attempt to try and do something live in the moment on a stage and just be shite. You know what I mean? So what advice have you got for a freestyler?
Well, first of all, I mean, even the definition of freestyle, I don't know if it's the same in Scotland or the UK, but compared to here, like when I say freestyle, and my generation of fellow like Torontonians, Canadians, when we say freestyle, we would mean just making the rhyme up on the spot. Whereas I find, at least here, again, a lot of the kids these days, when they say freestyle, doesn't necessarily mean off the top of the head. It could just mean like a rap they haven't necessarily. It still can be written. It might not just be recorded and released, or it might mean it's just not about a specific topic. It could just be kind of like a battle rap, but still written. But they'll consider that to be still a freestyle. So there's, first of all, you gotta like clarify what you're talking about when you say freestyle. Is it strictly off the top of the head?
Well, I think CJ is definitely an off the top of the dome kind of guy, but it's an interesting debate that pops up every couple of weeks in Scotland, because someone will release a freestyle. But I mean, but there is also an argument for some of the originators of hip hop said that a freestyle initially meant free of style. So it's an interesting one, but for me personally, I always thought of freestyle as being off the top of the dome. But there is arguments for both, because at the end of the day, you are doing something live, not necessarily with the same beat you would normally use. But
true.
It's off the top of the dome is a totally different animal. Do you find that is it something that you do? Is that part of your writing process where you maybe like freestyle over a beat and then turn it into a writing thing?
I think I always looked at it as two separate animals, really, like the writing and like stuff I'm writing that's intended for an album versus the skill of like freestyling off the top of the dome freestyling. There's definitely obviously some overlap in the sense of like vocabulary, flow, your voice, etc. I mean, at the end of the day, they're both rapping, but it is two distinct skill sets, like being able to write and like songwriting and craft a song with choruses and like all that kind of more in-depth stuff versus just the art of freestyling. So I don't know. I mean, as far as advice, you say this CJ is already dope, so
he's already dope.
Yeah, I don't
think there's much we can actually say to this guy, because like he just actually he actually doesn't know how good he is, but he does like he goes on Facebook Live and freestyles for 90 minutes. So off the top, everything's off the top. He doesn't write, so
I mean, really, like back when I was like heavy into freestyling, I'd be doing it all the time, just like by myself in my apartment, narrating my mundane daily events, like whatever, like taking a shower, if I gotta go out, sniff the flowers, like whatever, just like constantly sort of like, if you could do that and make it semi-interesting, then once it's time to actually hit a stage, it should be piece of cake. All those kind of exercises, or even like when Foreman and I would tour, we would always, we still do a little segment of the show is dedicated to some proper freestyling. So some tours we would set up at the merch table a little container and get people to just put random words in. So then I would like pull out words, and obviously rhyme about the words, which to the average fan is like, whoa, that's impressive. But to me, it's actually easier, because really the hard part to me freestyling is not so much the rhyming. It's more like just running out of shit to talk about, other than like, my name is Abdominal, I'm on the microphone, my name's Abdominal, I'm phenomenal. So it's like, if you have the subject matter, like, oh, cool, armadillo, I'm rough like Brillo. Like, so if you have the subject matter, that's half the battle. And then it's just, you need this sort of like dictionary of rhyming words, which you accumulate from years of rapping. Then you just kind of put it together on the spot. But
and it's also handy if you've got people in the audience wearing funny or interesting hats. If you've got someone with a very interesting purple hat, then that can help.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But I find like it's just part and parcel of freestyling. As I said, we would do that segment pretty much every show I've ever done with Format to this day. We'll always devote a little, even if it's just 5 minutes, to freestyling. And it's the nature of the beast, man. Some nights I'm on and it's like, holy fuck, that's like the best shit I ever kicked in my life. I hope someone recorded it. And sometimes it's like, I like to think I'm at a point now where even if I'm tanking, it's not going to be like the same tanking it was like my first year as a rapper. I can still, like, the show must go on, but I know it's like, all right, that was clearly like 40%. I might have to fall back on like, it's the ABDOM, like spelling my name. I'm on the microphone type of shit. Like, it's not gonna be a total train wreck, but it's also not gonna be like fucking, I necessarily want everyone to post that to social media type of shit.
I think it's interesting what you said about writing about the mundane, and I think that's something that you do particularly well. It's taking a subject that should not at all work on paper, and what we just played earlier on, the new one about fishing. Now, a hip hop song about fishing, you're like, that shouldn't work, but it absolutely does.
Well, you know what I like to call them, man? I call them my booby trap songs, because I like them to be deceiving, where it's like, same, I had the song on the first album with the band about my sock drawer, where like on paper it's about my socks, or on paper it's about fishing. But then once you get deeper to the song, it's actually about something, I'm attempting to make it about something that's deeper and hopefully more universal than just the surface subject. So socks or fishing, because the fishing, if you listen really to the fishing song, there's not too much about fishing in the song. It's really about more needing to escape the rat race, all the social media bombardment, needing to get into nature, tap into like a deeper sense of self. So really, like, the bulk of the song is about that and not specifically about fishing. So it's just sort of like the topic is like the gateway, the entranceway into what I'm really trying to like convey in the particular song.
The sock drawer's a brilliant one. If you've not heard it before, you should check it out. It's commenting and OCD and various things. We'll come back to that one in a minute, because I've already lined up the chicken wings one, which I think is another good one, because it's an ode to chicken wings.
Yeah, man. And that one I can say there's no depth to that one whatsoever. That's a song about chicken wings, and it's strictly about chicken wings.
Sometimes that's what you need. Before I play that, I don't want to, there's lots of comments coming in, so I'm just going to just people commenting the last tune. Serena says, amazing tune and great video.
Oh, thank you, Serena.
Sideshow Mall says, nice video. Who are the breakers?
Oh, they're just some like local TO legends, man. My man Benzo is the black guy in there, and then the white dude is Freeze. He's both like just super old school, been around Toronto breaking for like decades. Benzo is in a crew called Bag of Tricks, which is like the main crew here in Toronto. They've been battling like on an international level since like early 90s. And the girl in there, Tiff, she's a little younger, but I just put out a call on Facebook. I mean, some of the like Benzo and Freeze I reached out to specifically, but then I also put out a general call on Facebook, and she was sort of just a friend of a friend, and she was dope, you know, like I'd never met her prior to that video, but she was fantastic. Almost, I would hate to say, don't want to step on toes, but almost stole the show from those vets. So yeah, just some local TO people.
Well, Sideshow Mall as well. He's amazing. He's part of the Flying Jalapenos crew here in Scotland.
Okay, cool.
I think he's now based in Germany, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but dope as well. So if you're ever in Scotland or Germany and you need a breaker,
right.
there's your man there.
All right, good to know.
Colette's also saying loving the tune in the video, and Stuart says, enjoyed sharing some fish and chips with you and Jade before the Drygate gig.
Oh,
it was
yeah,
an amazing night.
Stuart.
Loving the new Obliques tune.
Oh, awesome, man. Thanks. Well, I hope people because we only released the first single. So the remaining 2 songs from that little 3-song EP, the whole thing's dropping July 3rd. So yeah, hopefully people will enjoy the other songs equally or more as the fishing one. But thank you, Stuart.
Let's go for the chicken wings.
All right.
Let's go for the chicken wings. And so there's not really much more to tell apart from you like chicken wings.
I love chicken wings. Yeah. Ever since high school, been very into chicken wings. So kind of has interesting history, which I thought merited a song discussing the finer points of the history of the chicken wing. And that's, pretty much verbatim. That's what the song's all about.
Let's do it.
It goes 9 years, 3 months, and 8 days. Before I was born, something happened that would change the way my life turned out. Let me tell you about exactly what I mean. The scene, New York State, Buffalo to be exact. 1047 Main Street between Best and North, at this bar called The Anchor, owned by Teresa and Frank Bellissimo and their son Dominique, who was working on that one fateful night when his friends came in for a late bite. But that late in the kitchen, whoa, slim were the pickings. All that was left were some chicken wings, wings, scrumptious wings, chicken wings. One of my favorite things, deep fried and then tossed in a bowl of hot sauce with some butter plus vinegar and a little dash of cayenne. Taste so delicious, they clearly were meant for flying. Whoa, chicken wings. Well, Teresa retreated back to the kitchen to see what she could do with the depleted and reduced stock. Because soup stock or trash the 2 options for wings back in the day. But she said, hey, what's stopping me from dropping this in some high grease, then tossing the pieces in hot sauce, and then serving the lot with blue cheese dipped with stars. A celery, nothing, that's what. So she did it, and guess what? All around, baby, thumbs up. So the recipe is stuck and spread all around the world, so profoundly affecting my life. Especially the nights When wings sell for half price, drinking beers, watching hockey fights, chilling with my friends, just kicking back. Stress slips away, eating chicken fat. Suicide on the menu, then I'm picking that. Full meal, a finger licking snack. Regardless, baby, wings tasting great. So let's take this time to commemorate October 30th, 1964, the date wings first appeared. So raise one up, let's celebrate. Chicken wings, one of my favorite things. They eat fried and then tossed in a bowl of hot sauce with some butter plus vinegar and a little dash of cayenne. Taste so delicious, they clearly were meant for flying. Chicken wings, one of my favorite things. They eat fried and then tossed in a bowl of hot sauce with some butter plus vinegar and a little dash of cayenne. Taste so delicious, they clearly were meant for flying. Whoa, chicken wings with that blue cheese dip. Whoa, chicken wings and that cold pitcher of beer. Whoa, chicken wings. Chicken wings.
Brothers and sisters. Is that you, Daniel? Are you before me?
Call that radio.
You call that radio.
Hello, yes, this is Dog.
You are tuned in to You Call That Radio. We're live every night, not every night, but most nights at 7 o'clock. Twitch, Facebook Live, YouTube. This show would not be possible without all the support of our Patreons. So if you enjoy the show, then you can go to patreon.com/You Call That Radio. And you can donate a couple of pounds a month if you can afford it. If you can't, it's fine. There's no paywall. You can watch all the content for free. And you can also just support us by hitting the share button or telling your friends about us. I've got an absolute legend on the show tonight. It's Abdominal. And it's been an honor talking to you, man. I really do appreciate it. Lots of people.
Thanks for having me, man. It's been really fun.
People were really enjoying your stuff here. Abs, you're a fucking legend.
Hey, Doug, what's up, man?
Go for the tune that has no hidden depths. I bet this tune does have hidden depths.
Well, I don't know. Depths of blue cheese dip, perhaps.
Dougie's also saying that I've taught your lyrics in my high school English class as an example of how to do an internal and multisyllabic rhymes in my annual school battle rap competition. Kids are not sure what they're hearing at first, as they're not used to the old school style, but end up loving it. You do a bit of stuff. You do a bit of stuff yourself. I don't know. Is it teaching hip hop or community work or?
Yeah, I have done some workshops here and there. I mean, my mom's retired now, but she was a high school teacher, so I went into her English class, and we did a few sessions, and then ended up recording a song. Like each student in the class was responsible for coming up with like 2 bars. Can't remember if it was 2 bars or 4 bars worth of raps. And then we did like one big posse cut with the whole class and recorded it. So that was pretty dope. But yeah, I've done that plus some other high school classes, and then even some younger kids too. Some like lunchtime workshops with like 8 and 9-year-olds kind of thing. So obviously it's a little more basic rhyme schemes, but still getting just the foundations of like how to count a bar and how to kind of formulate some little rhyme schemes. So yeah, I have a lot of fun. I'd like to actually expand and do that a bit more.
Well, Doogie is one of there's a couple. No, the ones that spring to mind is Doogie and Beer Jacket. They teach the battle rap is almost like a debating society, and cool. They're getting really cool results from it because maybe kids that wouldn't have been interested in English at all. And I mean, especially if it would have been something that would have been really helpful when I was at school, but none of it, really appealed to me. So I think it's a good way just speaking a language that kids can understand.
Totally, man. Actually, we did a project. There was this entrepreneur here in Toronto who hired the band and I to do this series of songs called Book Tunes, where he would take a book that was like typical book that was on a curriculum of high school English classes. So we did one, for example, for the Scarlet Letter. And I don't know, do you guys get Cole's Notes over there?
Cole's Notes?
Cole's Notes, it's like a slim little 30-page, 40-page book where they basically summarize the main points of these classic works. It can be either fiction or nonfiction. So if you're studying a particular book, you get the Cole's Notes, and it just sort of...
see, that's maybe the problem. We might do it. It's just that I don't really do that.
Fair enough.
So I wouldn't like to speak on behalf of Scotland as a country, but I'm not familiar with that. But yeah, I'm sure there's people. Yeah.
Anyway, so he hired us basically to do like the musical equivalent to Cole's Notes. So to come up with like a 5-6 minute song that would accomplish the same thing, like in rap form, summarize the main points of a book. So we did a few of those, but they were a huge amount of work, and he was trying to pitch it to schools and school boards and that kind of thing. So we had some success, but it never quite like took off. Like he wanted to do it for a whole huge series of 30 books or something. But yeah, it just was so much work. We kind of wanted to get back and like do our own music. So, but yeah, I think we did about 3 or 4 of them in total. But it was, interesting artistic exercise anyways. And I think, yeah, it did like some kids, it did work, as you said, for some kids who maybe typically were not into the literature. They'd be like, oh, this is rap music. Like this I can get into. And then I think it was never meant to be a total 100% substitute for the book. It's more like you get into it through the song first, and then maybe it piques your interest, and hopefully, ideally, then you go on to actually read the book itself.
Just going back to your mother, you actually did a song with your mother. Yeah. There can't be many. That must be an elite club of rappers who have released a song with their mother. Yeah,
I know of Black Alicious, I think it was, did a video. Was it Black Alicious or no, maybe Big Brother. I think it was Big Brother, where she didn't actually write or recite the rap. She like lip synced a verse of his in the video. But my mom, not only was she in the video, but she actually was rapping and she wrote her own verse. So that was like, she took it up.
Well, that's what I was going to actually ask you. Did she write her own verse?
Yeah, she did, man. Because my mom, like, she's been very into English. As I mentioned, she was an English teacher, but she's had this whole diverse career where she was like English teacher, librarian, book editor, but basically everything like centered around words and literature and English. And she always kind of dabbled and wrote her own poetry, just like as an amateur. So yeah, I thought it was a no-brainer to get her involved and do this song with her. She'd never written raps before, so she wrote her verse, but I did have to coach her a little bit just to kind of get the poem, get the verse to fit a little better on the grid, like make it a little more rap friendly. But yeah, I mean, she did 97% of it herself. And once we got in the studio, she nailed it. A couple takes and it was good to go.
That's brilliant, man. We've got some comments coming in. Hadn't heard of Abdominal. Quickly checked Vicious Battle Raps. Great flow. Hope to see you sometime in Glasgow.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, that was one of our older ones. That was, I think, maybe the 3rd song I ever did with Format. We were talking about my collaborations with England's DJ Format earlier. So yeah, I think that was maybe the 4th song we did together. And yeah, I played Glasgow.
It's cool. The video is really cool as well. With it's something that doing it. It looks like it's all done. I don't know if it was all done in one take, but it looks cool.
Yeah, it was crazy, and it wasn't even so much nailing the rap in one take, but like if you know the video, there's so much stuff happening, like different characters weaving in and out, and like all kinds of stuff happening. So all that had to be coordinated in sync to match with like the corresponding lyrics. So it was more just timing. So yeah, we did so many takes before we like finally landed on the one that actually ended up being the finished video. Yeah, it was a pretty grueling day, but we got her done.
And we've got Obi Joe. Hi, Abdominal. I loved your last album from China Shop Bull.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thanks for listening and supporting.
Custom McNichol says buffalo wings definitely not made from buffaloes.
This is true, but they were invented and perfected in the city of Buffalo, New York. So hence the Buffalo reference. Not too far from Toronto. It's only about a 2-hour drive from Toronto. So yeah, very close. We're neighboring cities.
There's people saying respect to your mum. I think maybe we should play a bit of it. I think we should.
By all means,
I think like people will want to hear this. So and also I think most of the songs we've played tonight are on the Abdominal and the Obliques album, which is available on all good and even some of the bad streaming sites.
True. Yep. I mean, as we said, it's on Bandcamp. So if you want to get it direct from me, come there. Or Spotify, all that stuff, or YouTube.
Bravery doesn't mean a lack of fear. True bravery is facing fear. So without fear, then there is no bravery. But when there's fear without bravery, that's slavery to fear, which is scary. Sorry, I digress. I guess using that logic would suggest that the most courageous amongst us must possess an inordinate amount of fear and stress, but yet still live life to its fullest. Meet my mother. Next to me, she's the biggest worry ward that you'll ever see. I mean, she gets scared by the sound of a sneeze, and the thought of being late brings shakes to her knees. But don't let that surface fool you, cause when it comes to true guts, my mom will school you. First of all, just so you know, my mom's 61. Over the last few years, well, here's some shit she's done. Kickboxing, weightlifting, capoeira, mountain climbing, belly dancing, grand marathons 4 times and 3 times to the Arctic to work with the Inuit. Then she walked to Guelph just to see if she could do it. So when I'm being interviewed, asked how did a Jewish kid from Canada ever think he could make it in rap music, I say that I pursued it because my mom influenced me to always walk the path that seemed the most true to me. No matter how daunting, unstable, and perfect, my mom was always there for me, exemplifying courage.
I'm the mom.
I'm the son. We sat down to have some fun.
But little did we know,
by the time we were done,
that what would emerge
from this unprecedented merger,
nothing short
of a dialogue on courage. She's my mom.
He's my son, but when we sat across the table,
pens in hand,
blank page, we rose above those labels and were peers.
Inspired by each other,
I see courage in my son,
and I see it in my mother.
Pencil and paper in his small hands, superheroes emerged, first took their stand. Captain Carrot, the boggler et al., the pictures of bravery when he was small. Later taking time off after high school, living in the real world, gathering tools. Canada world youth learning how to give, finding what it means to be human, how to live. Stepping outside what you already know, well, that's one way of making you grow. Coming back to Canada, going to school, doing what was expected, following the rules, prepping for the 9-to-5 society expects, just doing it and doing it, no time to reflect. Then somehow that voice that keeps calling our name, my boy heard. He listened and everything changed. With his hands and his heart, he once again drew from the world around what was politically askew. A cartoonist who, with strokes of black ink, made people laugh, then stop and think. It requires courage to keep listening to that voice, courage also to know you really have no choice. Then Andy turned to music, to words and a beat, telling his life, making experience concrete. When he raps or sings about things that are real, it reaches, teaches others, makes them feel. So when I hear or see Abs rap to a crowd, I listen, I smile, he does me real proud.
I'm the son.
I'm the mom.
We sat down to have some fun.
But little did we know,
by the time we were done,
that what would emerge
from this unprecedented merger,
nothing short
of a dialogue on courage. She's my mom.
He's my son, but when we sat across the table,
pens in hand,
blank page, we rose above those labels and were peers.
Inspired by each other,
I see courage in my son,
and I see it in my mother.
You call that radio?
You call that radio?
What back to the people who hated on me?
Your business idea needs a website, so go to Wix.com. I know what you're thinking, another Wix stack.
That's mad, isn't it?
Is this a Netflix thing?
It's actually a podcast.
What the fuck's a podcast?
You know, it's kind of like a radio show.
Oh, that radio.
Yeah.
Just popped in there.
Right.
And is there a way we can do something like that?
I couldn't help it.
By injection inside
in there.
or
Yeah, I think so, because I think just paint in general, because I think like my poem is in my painting.
No. Cut. As you call that radio, we have Abdominal live from Toronto, and everyone's loving that tune.
Thanks, man.
I'm just going to throw up some of the comments. This rounds of applause. Wow, class. Those swan pedalos in the video looked epic.
Dude, those are the Toronto Islands. Back when I was a kid, you would go ride those swans. I think they've long since been retired. But that was like the go-to every summer back when I was like 7, 6.
And we've got Dougie Smith says, I love how your mum tune is about being brave and you are risking your reputation as a cool rapper by doing a song with your mum, which in itself is an extremely brave move. And also the essence of cool, doing your thing, talking truth and not giving a fuck.
True, man. Yeah, I think as I get older, it's just like give a shit less and less, you know? It's just like you gotta do you.
And big ups to you and your mama. Tune, loving this, says Lee G. And what a great thing to have as a legacy with your mum.
Yeah, it was funny, man, because we did that. It was a crazy experience. Like, we did the song, not really anticipating doing a video. And then we ended up doing a video, which was a whole other experience. And then my mom started coming up and doing the song live with me, which was like a whole other aspect. She was scared shitless to do that. But then like she'd inevitably bring the house down and like get way bigger ovation than I would get for any of my other solo songs. But then it's funny, my mom felt kind of bad because and then actually after that we were approached and ended up doing a whole TED talk about the experience of like having done this song together, which was this whole other crazy thing. But my mom felt a little bad because she and I had this whole bonding experience over this song, but she felt like my little sister was maybe feeling left out. So she felt like, how can she have a similar meaningful experience with my sister? So my sister's really into tattoos. She was working in a tattoo parlor at the time. She's covered in tattoos. So at that point, my mid-60s mom was like, I'm going to get a matching tattoo. My mom's first ever tattoo at 65. She's going to go in and get a tattoo with my sister. So they did just that. They designed this little tattoo with her initial, my sister's initial, and my sister's daughter's initial. And so they got these matching tattoos. So that's pretty funny.
It was just to change up about. It was always something I always like to ask is can you give an example of a bad gig you've played or a gig whereby you were booked for the wrong show and it didn't go?
Dude, so many, man, over the years, so many. Like, believe me, they're not all like, I mean, fuck, dude, the very first show I ever played back in, I think, 93 was at this shitty pizza parlor, like out in the suburbs of Toronto. It was myself and the dude I mentioned earlier in the interview, that my skateboarding friend who had the shitty DJ setup. We had a little like slot, and all the rest of the acts were punk bands at this pizza parlor, Pino's Pizza. And I didn't even know like a show. I brought my literal rhyme book, like the notebook. I was like reading my raps. But basically by the end of the night, there was a huge brawl at the pizza parlor. Like every single person except for me and my buddy Dave were brawling in that place. Like pizza was flying, beer bottles flying. We're just like, let's just get out of here and escape with our lives. So that kind of like set the tone for my whole career from that point on.
And another question I'd like to ask as well, man, is whenever I speak to someone from a different area, it's always interesting to hear about the Toronto hip hop scene.
Oh, yeah.
Is there maybe anyone out there that might not be on our radar that we should be checking out?
I mean, I'm kind of out of the loop right now, to be honest. Let me see who's really done. I mean, really, the thing with Toronto, I guess it's kind of similar maybe to London in the sense that there's a huge Jamaican population. So that's a big influence on the not necessarily Canada-wide hip-hop, but Toronto-specific hip-hop is like very Jamaican and reggae influenced. But it's interesting. Toronto's kind of unique because we're relatively close to New York as well, which obviously is like the mecca of hip-hop. So a lot of people, particularly in the Black community here in Toronto, have family, have relatives down in New York. So a lot of people would go back in the day, like pre-internet days, and go visit their cousins or whomever in New York in the summer. And then that will be the like direct line to New York. And people bring back tapes and mixtapes and early vinyl back to Toronto. So we kind of were like linked into the New York scene. So there were early, and even like artists were coming up. There's a promoter and DJ here in Toronto, Ron Nelson, who would he threw some of the early hip hop shows here in Toronto. A lot of them were billed as like the Toronto artists versus the New York equivalent. So it'd be like Biz Markie versus whomever here in Toronto. So there's pretty rich history here in Toronto. But as far as now, I'm trying to think, man. I'm kind of drawing a blank. I mean, as far as like the legends, you know, the real like the godfather of Toronto hip hop is Maestro Fresh West. He would be like our equivalent to Big Daddy Kane. But my favorite's always got to be Socrates. You know, he's not a new cat either. He's from like early 90s. He's still doing his thing, but like from the 90s. But yeah, if you don't know Socrates, definitely spelled Saukrates. But Socrates, yeah, very dope, man. Very like signature Toronto sound.
And you obviously we talked briefly about Jurassic 5. Yet we actually have Charlie Tunas on our jingle that we do because met Charlie did a wee vox pop for us, and great. Nice. Jurassic 5 are just the coolest.
Yeah, he just messaged me on Instagram today. As a matter of fact, he'll just like randomly hit me up. He's funny, man. Like I think he just kind of mass messages people, so it wasn't specific to me. It's just like some new painting he had done. He just messaged it to me, which I'm sure he probably messaged like 100 people, but. I was like, dope, good stuff, Chuck.
What a voice! His voice is just so unique. It's there's just nobody quite like Charlie. Although when he was over, everyone in Glasgow calls him Charlie Tuna, but obviously it's Charlie Tuna. So that's another quite like Dirt, which I'm getting told in the comments when I said Dirt. Facebook auto subtitles said that they thought I was saying duck.
I saw that comment, and funnily, that's what I heard, man. When you first said it, I was like, duck. What song do I have?
You mean Chicken Wings? No, I think you're getting mixed up with Chicken Wings.
Remix.
But who else, as well as Jurassic 5, who else was influential or just you grew up performing with or just was inspiring for you throughout your career when you've been doing it?
As I said, man, I've always really gravitated towards the real lyrical dudes. So like Organized Confusion, particularly Pharaoh Monch of Organized Confusion is probably my favorite rapper of all time. So those guys, usual suspects like Souls of Mischief, the Tribe Called Quest, the De La Souls, goes without saying. Just that whole era, man. Really like the kind of the less gangster side of things from that sort of era. Early mid 90s is really when I was like fully into listening to hip hop. And these days, I'm really feeling Homeboy Sandman. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Yes, I know Homeboy Sandman. Yeah,
Edon, of course. So that whole camp is for sure digging that stuff.
Amazing, man. One of my favorite ones you did was when I seen you play it live with the Obliques. Was the tune where you say you don't take a breath through the whole verse.
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin the magic because I want to believe that you don't take a breath through the whole verse.
Yeah, well, we so there's 4 8-bar verses in that song, and then the final verse is a 16-bar verse. So it's very difficult for me to do live. So usually when we perform it, I just cut off that final 16-bar. I just do the 4 8-bar verses, which I can't. I do those live, but the 16-bar verse. I did do it when we recorded in the studio. I did do it. There's no smoke and mirrors. It was legitimately on one breath, but it took me like 580 takes or something to nail it. I had a
similar experience with a song that I recorded, and I remember it took me a lot of takes to get this. It wasn't even rapping. It was it was hitting a note, a very high note in a song. Yep. But I was like, if it's taking me 8 takes, how am I going to do this live?
Yeah.
And it made me not do it. But then it turns out that being on stage live, I can hit that note because something about the adrenaline.
Yeah, true, man.
But you could just actually do it. But you need more than adrenaline to do 16 bars without taking a break.
The problem is, like the 16 bars in the studio environment, I can have like crystal clear microphone, turn up my vocals as much as I want. But like in a club setting, even with a really good system, it's like I just need to project that much louder.
Yeah.
Because like people are talking, obviously there's background noise and stuff. So it's just like, yeah, I've tried to do it before. I can maybe get to like 12 bars, something like that. But it's like even just moving around where I'm like expending energy, it just all kind of adds up to making it very difficult to do in a live club setting versus, as I said, like a more controlled.
And it's just a different temperature as well. Like you've got all that. You might have smoke machines in the background and all sorts. Sorry, man. What's the name of that tune again?
Breathe Later.
Breathe Later. That's it. Yeah. Because you've got another one as well. What I think put that song on. And then we'll give, this is your last chance because I don't want to keep, I know you've been on here for nearly 2 hours, man. I really appreciate you taking the time. So we'll play Breathe Later. This is everyone's last call. If you've got a question for Abdominal, let us know in the comments. I don't think Breathe Later's got a video as such, but it is on YouTube. So I'm just, there isn't a video. It's just the
audio. It wasn't even me. Someone threw up the audio, so I don't even know who it was.
Yeah.
Some random, but it's all good.
Well, just to give people an idea of, I mean, so what you're saying is that when we went and seen you live with the Obliques, you actually did. That would have been the 2 8 bars, and it's still incredible to me, man. I mean, my breath control's not the best. I quit smoking. I mean, it's a hobby I've got. I quit smoking, and then I'm back on it, and obviously stuff like that's not good for your breathing.
Yeah.
Is there any other tricks apart from tricks? Sorry, is there any more other tricks apart from, be healthy?
I mean, I used to train, man. Like I used to cycle a lot more. I've had knee surgery since I'm not on the bike as much, but I used to like cycle uphill and be like rapping as I cycled uphill. So I kind of figured like if I could do it in that setting, then put me on a level surface, it's going to be a lot easier. So
that is an absolutely brilliant. I've actually done that once, and thanks for reminding me. But yeah. I've got a bike. Maybe I'll be able to do a cover version of this tune one day if I just cycle enough.
Do it, man.
I doubt it very much, but
I believe in you, bro.
Check this out, ladies and gentlemen. This is incredible stuff. So just one more time to reiterate, he's taking one breath at the start of each verse and then not having another breath, and it's just a phenomenal skill.
I'm not breathing today. Have you ever gone without breathing at all?
Never heard an MC with the lung capacity. Got this one, ABD, go MINAL. The breaths I take are just one inhalation, which will last me 4 durations. That's unheard of. I can probably ride the single breath until the verse is up. You know the same, don't waste your breath. That's my personal slogan. Physically slim, but got lungs the size of Hollywood Hogan's. And no man can hope to stand toe to toe with that when it comes to chest expansion. They be tight like Shaq's, I be roomy like Mansion.
Later. I said later, man.
Please excuse me as I rudely take a pause for oxygen, but now I'm ready to resume my rhythmic style of talking, and my exhalation takes the form of the freshest expression. It's so fresh if I eat shit, I wouldn't even need a breath, man. With the reds and or without, so to me that's all just irrelevant. I come packed with more lung power than a bellowing elephant. Hella bent on developing my breath control. Greater spectators concerned for my health, y'all to be breathing. Yo, I tell them I'll breathe later. I'll breathe later. I'll breathe later. I'll breathe later. I tell them I'll breathe later. I'll breathe later. I'll breathe later. Whether you a thug, a pimp, a hustler, knucklehead, a pretty boy, a gangster, baller, acid rapper, old schooler, but underground backpacker, whatever so-called subcategory of hip-hop you select, yo, you gotta give respect to 48 bars and 5 breaths of domino, make an auctioneer see mute by comparison. The way a lot of rappers be punching in is embarrassing. If I can't do it live, I won't do it in studio. I'll probably hyperventilate, but so be it, cause that's my duty, bro.
Inhale. This rap so fresh till I get out of breath.
I pack a lot of wind to the point that police are hesitant to give me breath test, cause they know when they say ass blow into this here breathalyzer, they're about to lose the apparatus. Even if I only gently breathe, I always end up smashing it. I got a contract with this wolf who called me on my cell phone saying he pay me decent money if I helped him blow this pig's brick house down, cause he knew when I huff I come with more puffs and bags of taters. I rap like if it was the last verse of my life. I'll breathe later. I'll breathe later. I'll breathe later. I'll breathe later. I tell him I'll breathe later. I'll breathe later. I'll breathe later. Here's the spot I need to start the third verse, cause it's time to finish. But before I get into it, could somebody please call Guinness and alert them to the fact that there's a cat attempted to rap 16 bars in one breath, 8's a warm-up lap. I've been there, done that, and I'm not alone. Big up to lyrics born on that diversion, but I never heard tell of a single breath 16 bar verse yet. That's uncharted territory that we're about to step into. Fuck a compass navigating with the mic that I rap into. Cross the line into bar 9 with me can save my lungs are fine. Plus must remind you that we lay down twine in case you need to find your way back out, but don't back out now, cause we've almost reached the summit. Altitude sickness sets in, oxygen levels start to plummet. I'll be frank, at this point, bar 13, we're only running on fumes. Need to consume oxygen, the opportunity will come soon. Because 15 bars have already slipped through the sands of time. Of what was one small breath for man, but one giant breath for mankind. I'll breathe now.
My last breath will be kicking the rhyme till there ain't nothing left. This may be hard to believe, and I'm in this jam with time to breathe. You call that radio?
The guy is singing that you do it with your pistol.
You call that radio? Live with Abdominal tonight. Just a wee shout out for what's coming up ahead. Tomorrow night we've got Sam Small, who is the world poetry slam champion. He's from Scotland, an absolute legend. He does he's runs Speculative Books, a publishing company. He does poetry at In Deep, which is a very successful, a very important part of the poetry community in Glasgow, and just genuinely one of the funniest and best spoken word performers that I've ever seen. So delighted to have him on. And then on Thursday, we've got Capital 1212. In fact, I even made a banner. Where is the banner for this? Yes, here it is. I think this is it. No, it's not that one. It's this one. No, it's not that one. It's this one. No, it's not that one. It's this one. But yeah, if you're on YouTube, actually, hit the subscribe button. This is Malfunction that did these wee graphics that you're seeing on the screen just now. Actually, Malfunction made another one, but I need to bring an Abdominal one for this, because this might work or it might not. It's a work in progress. I think I need to take the background, make the background. So if I make the overlay like that, okay, and then I do this, it's not. I think I got it wrong. Oh yeah, I know what I need to do. It doesn't matter. Malfunction's done some good work. I just don't know how to drive it yet. But shout outs to Malfunction for doing the graphics. And hopefully you can all tune in. Capital 1212 will be brilliant on Thursday. They're Scottish producers, DJs, musicians who are, I believe, are working with members of Public Enemy just now. So they've got some really cool stuff to talk about. They've got a new Brooklyn radio show. They've got a Denmark thing going on as well. So I don't even know what they're up to, but it sounds like a lot of interesting stuff. Can't wait to hear about all of that. And Abdominal, thank you so much for being on the show tonight, man. It's like I said, I've listened to your stuff since like the DJ Format album that you did, and I've always been a massive fan. So it's so amazing for you to come on the show. I really appreciate your time, man.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. Yeah, it was fun. It was good questions, not just the usual like, how'd you get your name? Blah blah blah. You know. Yeah. So
I was going to ask that. I was going to ask that because when I woke up today, I was a little bit hungover, and I was talking to my brother on the phone, and he says, "Why didn't you just ask him where he got his name from?" So why don't we just end it on a downer by me asking you that question?
You were doing so well, man. You were doing so well. No, well, to be honest, we actually wrote a song, the band and I, which is potentially gonna either be on the next EP or the full album I mentioned, called Behind the Name. So it kind of answers that question. But
all right, so cool. That don't tell me. Spoiler alert. You know, if you want to find out what the story behind the name, then you need to listen to that. You need to buy that new thing from Bandcamp.
You're hired, man. You're hired. You're my new PR.
Or you can probably watch any other interview that he's ever done, ever. So we've got just last. Thanks for coming on the show. Is Abdominal coming back to Scotland?
Yeah, man. Once this quarantine lifts, as I said, I mean, first step is to finish this album, but yeah, once it's out, then for sure we're gonna need to tour it, and so Scotland will always be on the list of touring destinations if we're over in the UK, of course, man. That's like some of the best shows, some of the most support has always been in Scotland, so for sure we'll always be coming back.
Great to hear that, man. Scott, I know that you've got many fans over here. Sharon says, "Oh, Mark, I'm at my sister's getting Wendy and Reese into You Call That Radio. Thanks for spreading the word." And going back to the Breathe Later, CG says that's insane. And John, who's a new fan of yours as of today, he says Canada just won Olympic gold for rap. That was dope. Incredible skills, dope. This is incredible, amazing, says the captain.
Thanks, gang. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end with the one that you might be. I don't even know if do you get sick of the hit song? Do you get sick of that because it's like so popular?
At times, yeah. I'd say like the three really was like Ill Culinary Behavior, Hit Song, and Vicious Battle Raps. Those are sort of like three big ones for me in format, but you know, that's part of it, right? Obviously you gotta that's what the fans want to hear, so you gotta do them.
I stayed away from them. If you notice, I stayed away from them all. I played all the kind of more recent stuff, and I also avoided asking your name and ruining it. So I'm going to ruin it by asking you a shit question and then playing your one of your biggest tunes. The reason I've got to play it though is I was playing it the other night, and I just love the fact that you rhymed hit record with hit record, and I've never heard that done before or since, and I think that deserves a play on its own right.
All right, fair enough, man.
So when's so everyone are you on social media? How can people hear more about you?
Pretty much like it's at MC Abdominal on all platforms. So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I think Bandcamp. You can just go and search Abdominal on Bandcamp and I'll pop up. So yeah, find me, or like YouTube, any or all the above. I'm very reachable. I usually reply. So if you have any questions or want to get in touch, just hit me up.
Amazing stuff, man. And yeah, man, good luck with the new record. I think that you're just not in a space. You're not doing recording from home. You're waiting until the actual studio before you're going to.
Well, we can't. Like, I have the means to record at home, and my guitarist. It's more because we have a stand-up bassist in the band, and also the drummer requires more than just like a simple one mic setup. So, depending how long it's going to go on, yeah, we're trying to wrap our head around how we can potentially do it from home. So, I mean, ideally, we can get back in the proper studio, but if not, show must go on. So we'll figure it out some shape or form.
Amazing stuff, man. Well, this is the last tune of the night. Thank you very much, mate. This is called Hit Song, and the video still looks so fresh.
Thanks,
was this 2003? Is this or?
Yeah, I think we did that one maybe 04, but yeah, around
04, man. It's still looks amazing. So yeah, thank you very much for coming on the show. And if anyone wants to, remember, we're here every night at 7 o'clock. We're back tomorrow night with Sam Small. And if you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/You Call That Radio. Everyone who supports the show gets put into a raffle, and you can win things as well. Make sure you check out Gone Fishing by Abdominal and The Obliques, and also get social media down there, MC Abdominal. We're going to end with an absolute hit song. Thanks very much, mate. Take care, and
All
I'll
right, thanks for having me, man.
again soon.
All right, take care. Peace.
Quality writing makes your schoolwork better. Meet Grammarly, the digital writing assistant that helps students create effective writing.
An American psychiatrist calls it audio stimulation.
You call that video?